Hello, everyone. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha, and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm really grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And in this one, I wanted to kind of extend what I spoke about last time about obsessions and speak about a question that someone brought up that I actually had a little bit of a solution to. And so I imagine that a lot of you are kind of going through the same kind of thing because I went through it as well, and this person went through it as well. And so I kind of have a little bit of a fix or a hack for it, and I wanted to share that with you. Essentially, what the person asked, Madhvi, was that, she has an obsession, and then she goes through with it for a few weeks, a few months, and then it dies down. But what happened was that she wasn't able to learn the skill or finish the task that she had started. So perhaps, she might have started thinking about knitting a sweater, which I did. And she started knitting the sweater, but then never finished knitting the sweater. And so she was obsessed with it for a bit. She started doing it, didn't finish it, and then got obsessed with something else. Or, how we get obsessed with getting fit, and then we start doing it for a few months, few weeks, and then we forget about it. So the answer I had for it, and the answer I have for myself, because I go through this obviously a lot, and yes, that is a tear in my shirt, if you're wondering. It's a nice shirt, I like it still, and I wear it at home. Anyways, because I know people are going to ask about that. Because people ask about it all the time when I'm walking around. They're like, you have a tear in your shirt, and I'm like, yeah, I do. Anyways, so I know, and and everyone knows, that our obsessions last for a certain amount of time, and it's different for each person, and also different for each task. So there's some tasks that I will be obsessed forever. So I've been obsessed with writing forever and ever and ever since I was young, and it hasn't ended yet, and it goes up and down sometimes, but I'm always constantly writing something or the other, right? Either it's in my journal, or it's a book or a novel or an article or whatever it might be. These YouTube videos as well, I'm surprised at how long I've been doing them for and how I'm still interested in doing them. I guess it's also because I'm getting positive feedback from all of you. But there are some things that I've started, like I said, knitting a sweater, and I started it, and then halfway through or whatever, usually for me, my obsessions last about 4 months. That's what I've noticed, and this is I've been kind of observing myself and kind of like pointing out, okay, I started this month and I do it for 4 months and then it ends. Usually 4 months, that's like an average. And so I know how long my obsessions last for, and so I usually end up kind of giving myself a goal for that obsession. I know they're not going to last forever, and I think that's the kind of misconception mistake that we make as INFJs. We assume that, oh no, this obsession is going to be different and it's going to last forever and ever and ever. It's not. It's an obsession. We just started doing it because we like it, but eventually it's going to die down. Some won't, and that's fine. But how about we go in with the assumption that they're going to die out after a certain amount of time? Because that'll give us a little bit of solace and peace, because we're like, yeah, okay, it's going to die down eventually. And then we won't hate ourselves for it. We won't put ourselves down saying, oh my God, I always start things and I never end them, and what's wrong with me? You knew this was going to happen. So why are you surprised, right? Like, why are you lying to yourself, right? And so I've really I've stopped lying to myself about this. I know I'm going to be obsessed about it for a few months, few weeks, whatever it might be. And then I know that I'm going to be not so obsessed with it, and it's going to die down, and I'm going to move on to something else. So that's great. If you go in with that imagination or that suggestion to yourself, and you're like, okay, I'm going to be obsessed with this for a certain amount of time. This is what I want to accomplish with my obsession, right? So I want to knit one sweater, and that's all. And then once I'm done with that, that's done. Or I'm going to go for 4 months to the gym and get to this certain fitness level, and that's it. Or I'm going to learn all the alphabets in Japanese. You're going to be obsessed for a certain amount of time. Figure out how long it's going to be average for you. Notice yourself, watch yourself, observe yourself, and then use that amount of time to learn whatever you want to learn in that particular field, in that particular obsession. And then once that obsession is done, you can feel good about it, because you don't have to say to yourself, but I was going to get really good at it and I was going to be an expert at it. No, you're not going to be an expert at it. You're going to be obsessed with it for a few seconds, milliseconds of your life. And then you're going to be done with it, and then you're going to move on to something else. And so you know this is going to happen, so don't lie to yourself. Don't imagine that anything else is going to be the case, and just be obsessed with it in joy, in complete, absolute, utter joy, and just do it for the amount of time that you're going to do, and then move on with peace, without berating yourself, without putting yourself down, because you knew this was going to happen, right? And so I feel like this is a really good strategy for a lot of INFJs who get obsessed with things, because it takes out the guilt factor from our obsessions. You know, we know when we get into a new obsession that it's going to last for a few days, months, and then we're going to be over it. But then we imagine for some reason it's going to last forever, and then it doesn't last forever, and then we feel guilty for being the kind of person who gets obsessed with things only for a little bit of time. And so we put ourselves down, we say that we're not good enough, you know, we berate ourselves, we hide in our caves, we do all these things to ourselves, we punish ourselves, you know. Why? You know who you are. Why are you punishing yourself for being who you are, right? Why do you want to be something different? Don't be, it's fine. And so I would recommend this is what you do is for the next month or 2 months, observe yourself, or think about, you know, how long your obsessions last for first. Figure that out, because that's a good number to know. And this is an average, right? So of course it might be up and down depending on the item. But mostly, as I said, my obsessions last for 4 months. And then they die down. And then sometimes they reappear again, right? And so, you know, I'll be obsessed with a manga for 4 months. I'll just read it over and over and over and over again. And then I'll forget about it. And then a year later, I'll be like, oh man, remember that manga? I really love that manga. I really want to read it again. And I'll read it again, and I'll be obsessed with it again, maybe for 2-3 weeks at this time. And then it'll die down, you know? So of course it'll come in waves, but we're just talking about the first wave, right? And so how long does your first wave last for? Like how long is it? And then figure that out for yourself. And then the next time you get obsessed with something, which is probably going to be tomorrow, just kidding, you know, figure out, okay, so this is how long I'm going to be obsessed with this item for. Awesome. I know already what's going to happen in the future. Great. And so what do I want to accomplish with this obsession this time around, right? And it's easy with some things. With a manga, it's easy. I just want to read it over and over and over and over again until my obsession dies. With other things, it's a little bit difficult. Like if you want to get fit, you know, and your obsession only lasts 2 weeks, like how are you going to get fit? Like it's hard, right? So unfortunately, some things it's not going to be perfectly aligned to. Because for example, like being on a fitness regime, it requires consistency over years and years and years. It's not like something you do for a few days and then it finishes, right? So unfortunately, if you could get obsessed with fitness forever and ever and ever, that would be great, but it's probably not going to happen that way. So what I do to trick myself is that I get obsessed with different fitness things over time. So, you know, first I got obsessed with kettlebells. So I was doing kettlebell workouts for like 2, 3, 4 weeks. I loved them. They're great. And then I got not so obsessed with them. It died down. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get obsessed with dance now. So I got obsessed with dance, hip-hop dance. And I started doing hip-hop dance a lot. And then I'm sure something else will come up. And I'm like, oh, I'm obsessed with that. And so I kind of moved my obsessions. But I was still doing fitness-related things. So I'm still staying fit. Does that make sense? So it's a lot about tricking yourself and playing mind games with yourself. You're playing mind games anyways. But these are conscious mind games. You're actually doing it to yourself consciously so you can live a better life. So I hope this makes sense. I hope that I was able to explain myself to you. I know it might be a little bit abstract. If it is, and if you have questions, let me know, of course. But I really think that if you can use this, you know, use your obsessions to your good and actually know that they're only going to last for a certain time and then use them during that time in the best fashion possible, I really think that's going to improve your life a lot as an INFJ. Also, if you've already used these techniques, let me know. And if you have other techniques that you use that I haven't mentioned, let me know as well in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And again, thank you so much for being on my channel. I really appreciate all of you. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.